Hello everyone. Apparently someone wanted, I think it was some sort of like evolution video on different firearms. So I thought what we'll do is we'll cover the M4 family of weapons. I do apologise if there's any lag. This is seriously getting laggy and it's a bit of a pain, so I do apologise for any issues that do arise during the production. So as you can see here, we've got two different sort of trees. You've got your M16, from your AR-10, M16A1 to, the M16, the M16A1, the M16A2, the M16A4, and then you've got your CAR-15/XM177, the M4, and the M4A1. Starting off obviously with the AR-10. However, quick disclaimer, okay, I'm not an expert, I'm not claiming to be. If there's anything here that is wrong, please do correct me in the comments down below. Alright, we might come across stuff that I have no idea about or had no idea about. So, yeah. Do your own research. Okay, I'm not a reliable source. But anyway, I'm not going to give you dates, we're just going to go over the firearm. Sweet, so first off, as you can see, we've got the AR-10. Essentially, what Eugene Stoner made to replace the M14, which was in service at the time, which was a 7.62 weapon used in the Vietnam War. The US government essentially said, well, it looks cool, but we want a forward assist in case the bolt doesn't shut. And, oh, that was very bad there. And we would also, guys, I am really sorry about any lag that comes up, and if I crash, I'm gonna hate this. Sorry, and we also want it to be 5.56. So essentially, this was a prototype weapon he made. So you can see a lot of features of it that kind of moved over to the M16, minus obviously the wooden stock, since there were a few issues with the stocks. Or the wooden M14s, Thompsons, etc. that were used in Vietnam. The US government wanted polymer. So, yeah, as you can see, it's an M16. Oh, sorry, you know, 7.62 weapon. Okay. With the bolt hole open. I'll do one more mag. Assist. Did I actually just do that? I did. Get in there. There we are. Okay, can't identify a bayonet lug. Most military service weapons have the option to equip a bayonet. But for purposes of this, we're not going to go over it. Cap's got a bayonet lug. It's going to have a bloody bayonet. Sweet. So here's the M16. From the US Army. So this is the M16. Okay, quite simple. Semi-safe, fully automatic firing. Obviously, you got your place for the bayonet. So why am I saying the M16? Because the next one is the M16A2, A1. So a lot of people were like, oh, the original M16 jammed, it was horrible. So a lot of it came down to what the ammunition that the people were using, and of course the rumors of this weapon self-cleaning. Yeah, no, it's not. So yeah, some of the issues came down to the ammo that they were using. They were using an experimental ammo at the time. But yeah, you can see a lot of features here. So you obviously got your bayonet lug, your sling mounts. Came in service with a 20-round magazine. Let's kind of come over here to the rubbish bin. There we are. You got your Don't know if that's going to work. I hope it does. Okay, I don't think it does. Oh no, it does. So you can see there, those two. I'm not sure you can see that. I'm going to try to use it on my right side. A bit blurry for me. You can kind of see your two sides here. So you've got a 100 meter and I think it's a 400 meter, which is quite cool. I'm trying to avoid how laggy this is. I do apologize for any production issues that come up. Oh. You can see how laggy it is by how long it took to reach the ground. Of course, I pressed the wrong one. Okay, but yes, this is a M16. And Charlie Front. Oh, this is so laggy. Oh, I hate this. Alright, I am getting rid of that because I am lagging out. Sweet, and here's the M16 A1. So essentially the improved M16. So this went over, this fixed a whole bunch of issues. According to the game, H3 it gave the I forgot what flash. I'll just call it an M4 flash either. I forgot. So this was after the issues with the M16 were addressed. This is what replaced a whole lot of them. Nothing too much to note. But yeah, nothing too much to note from it. It's just essentially the M16 that they used. However, at this time, US Special Operations, yes, I did it wrong, they were conducting LARPs, or long-range reconnaissance patrols, on something shorter. They were cutting down the M16s and thinking about ideas, and Colt had an idea. We're going to fire a few more rounds through this, because why not? Ugh, I hate how laggy this is. That gonna work? Okay. Simi. Yeah. Okay. So that was the M16 A1. Around this time, though, they Special Operations wanted something that was smaller and more compact. That's where this thing came into play. So a lot of things were taken from the M16. However, if there's a few issues that you won't see on this that caused a lot of issues later on with the M4 platform. So as you can see, it's quite. It's basically just looks like a normal M4. Nothing really too distinguishing. However, on the inside, you notice that we won't be able to see it. But it's a gas tube, right? So how a direct impingement weapon works is you fire the weapon. So okay, bullets in the barrel. You fire it, and there's a small hinge there. And what happens is the gas goes up, and it routes back to the bolt, the system. You kind of see there, and it pushes that back. And then that's what allows another round to be chambered. That's not going to work, but it'll be right. So that's what allows another round to be chambered. The M4 later on had a lot of issues with its jamming, and the reason a lot of issues happen is because you've got all this soot entering the gas tube, and there's a small hinge. I'll see if I can. So we're going to use 2 bullets here as an example. Okay. So we'll pretend that that's our gas tube. Okay. What's happened now is you've got the round. Where are we? There we are. You have the round going down the barrel, and then it's coming up, and now it's going to move to the next. It's got to move up, and that part there, you've got all this soot building up, which caused a whole lot of reliability issues that the M4 had later on. Obviously, it was fixed eventually, but it's a lot of issues that didn't really come up. But anyway, this is the Car 15 or XM177. A lot of people just called it the Colt Commando. Collapsible stock. 4-inch flash hider, because why the heck not? And yeah, a lot of people like this. A lot of guys started using it, and it became very popular with the special operations types. Probably be an idea to put the weapon on fire. Around that time, the 30-round magazine started coming into an idea. I do apologise if you want me to spend more time on a firearm with different options. You can also kind of see a scope out there, with different options and whatnot. Let me know, please, so I can actually go over the firearm in depth, and we can have an actual play around rather than trying to make sure I don't have a random shell and yeah. But anyway. So later on, the 30-round magazine started becoming introduced. This wasn't really popular, although it was starting to gain a little bit of traction. Again, mainly through special force types units. Over time, people made adaptations, and yeah. So then you had the M16 A3. No, the A2, sorry. A lot of guys, this is what they were used in Fallujah. Key noticeable differences is they removed the automatic firing, semi-safe, and 3-round burst. Why did they remove the what's the name? Fully automatic firing? I have no idea. I'm assuming, and again, this is a guess, and again, I'm not an expert. The US and Vietnam used a whole lot of ammo to take out a couple of VC. They expended a whole lot of rounds for a certain amount of kill, and they were like, well, we need to give them a reason to conserve ammo. Hence the 3-round burst. Basically, the poor man's fault, though. So the Army and Marine Corps in the US were using this weapon to great extent. And obviously during Fallujah they were using it quite a bit. However, how long is that barrel? It's 20 inches. 20-inch barrel. Very long. If I'm trying to get through a doorway, which is up here, so here we are in Fallujah, let's try and get through this doorway. Well, that doesn't prove my point, but right? It's very... Yeah. Okay, it's very hard to shuffle through, to go through windows. They were going on rooftops and windows, all to avoid going through front doors. Why? Because that's where the bad guys were. That's an MK18. Yeah. Get over that later. Probably not. Probably not M16s. But anyway. So, yeah, they wanted something shorter. And that's where the Car 15 saw that started to have an idea. And around this time, you had the original M4. Again, semi-safe and 3-round burst. This is what the whole of the people were deployed with. They weren't common, but they were starting to gain some traction. And the army started looking at it and saying, oh, I think that's quite a nice weapon. Might start looking into it. And they did. They got some Picatinny rails, so it have ACOG sights, red dots on this. And hey, all was well and dandy. So anyway, I'll better make sure I can actually, yeah. Hey, I have to do this. Move off from it. Oh. So something actually I'm just looking at now, is what the developer must have added, is 3-round burst had a bit of an issue. 3-round burst, right? Quite simple. You fire one shot, and how does that happen? You fire one shot, you get 2 when you switch to a burst. So the reason that happened is because it was sort of like a switch inside the firing mechanism. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but essentially you chuck it on burst, or every time a round fires, that goes round, right? So, oh no, we need... This is very laggy, I'm sorry. But it's, yeah, essentially a bit of an issue. A large issue happened with this weapon during... Oh, they did add some pick rails here and there. Which, as you can see on the M4... Oh, sorry, the M4A1. They did eventually add pick rails to the M4. As you can clearly tell. But obviously this is just how the game separates him. But yeah, during a... Oh, we're still in Fallujah at this rate because we've got the M16. Right, we'll carry on anyway. So here's the M16. We'll go back to that issue that arose. And this is what a whole lot of people were saying to use, especially the Marines. Found it quite handy. A fun fact as well, the guys that were issued ACOG sights, right? Apparently, carry handles are a Class A. The enemy is not supposed to possess your carry handle. So a lot of guys just plopped it under there, and now it's a handguard. Well, they went around with the ACOG sight, which was quite something cool that I learnt. I do apologise, I'm in a very, very tight spot. I'm not even, like, from butt to tip, that's about it. Hey, that rhymes. So this is essentially the next evolution of that M16. And so far, it's the final one. From this, you had a lot of SR25 style stuff coming out. especially when people started to move to the M4. Right, the M4 was started to trickle into some units, see with pick rails and everything else. Especially with the Marines. The Marines officially adopted the M4 in 2018. Now, during an event in Afghanistan called the Battle of Whatnot, the issues that I mentioned earlier with the gas, you can kind of see it in there, with the gas tube, how it rose up, those issues started to come back. And yeah, had a few issues. So what happened, if I remember correctly, it was a modernization led by the United States Security Forces and the United States Air Force. Decided to update the M4 into modern standards. So that's what they had: collapsible stock, A2 grip. I think it's A2 grip, I completely forgot. Obviously, Piccadilly rails as expected. Seriously, you can't expect anything less, can you? What? When did this happen? I think it was 2018. No, it was 28. It was sometime. I was to say 2012. I forgot. Again, that's why I'm not reliable. But yeah, so we don't need that anymore. So they led a effort to improve the M4, and that's what they did. They reintroduced fully automatic, heavier barrel, fixed tubing, fixed a whole bunch of gas issues, and now works like a charm. I don't want you guys to stand around any longer than you have to. So essentially, yeah, I will give you guys a quick, what's the name? A quick sort of fun fact, just while we're here. So the M4 is chambered in 5.56 per 45 NATO. Right? I want this. Okay. So there we are. That works for me. No, it won't work for me. Steady out. Stay. Alright. Intermediate, our O1 is a 5.56 by 45. Alright, so I'm going to go for an SMJ. And we're going to spawn a single round. Okay. What we want is we want the 5.45. Okay. So this is a 5.45. And this is a 5.56. So the difference between the 5.56 and the 5.45 is that I really feel like I can land on this rubbish bin. The 5.45 had better ballistics and penetrating soft armor. Because what happened is the Vietnamese captured a bunch of M16s, gave them to the Soviets. Soviet Spetsnaz and other units started using them in the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. And they found that the 5.56 was quite good. So they got that idea and improved on it. The top of this is hollow. Top of the 5.45 is hollow for better ballistics, penetrating soft armor, which was becoming a bit more common back then. And that's essentially how you came up with 5.45. The Vietnamese got some M16s and ammo, gave it to the Russians. Bada bing, bada boom. And that's really it. Obviously, during the evolution of the M4, you had a lot of stuff trying to take its sort of style or look. Okay, the 416, the MK12 sort of stuff was starting to port. Oh, that's cool. That's port firing. Actually, fun fact. I don't know if there is a version here. I don't think there is. Yes, there is an M16A3. I got no idea where that fits into it. So yeah, it's essentially hidden from all history books, to my knowledge. If you do have information on it, there down below. And again, if I am wrong at any stage, let me know. Anyway, so just a quick cool thing as well. The M14E1 or M14 whatever. The M14 wasn't really a machine gun. Okay, it wasn't, plain and simple. They didn't really, back in those days, you only really had the M60, and the M60 wasn't overly available. Came out a bit later. So what happened is the US Army essentially said, I know what we're going to do. We'll grab an M16, because why not? And we're going to find a a bipod, which would probably be in the grips, I assume. Which won't be in the grips, I assume. But anyway, yeah, so they had a bunch of, so they got some bipods, and, oh, there we are. I don't know if that counts. Don't know if that would fit on there. No, it won't. Yeah, so they put some bipods on the M16 barrels. Obviously not as cool as this, but they had some bipods on it, like a clip-on, and that was the machine gunner for them, which is quite interesting. Yeah, so that was a machine gunner for the what's the face? The Americans. They did it with the M14 and the M16. Eventually, the M60 came in. However, that was actually still the case. Going into the Gulf War. I don't think that's when the M249 started coming in. Alright. There's a lot of stuff that happens in my brain, and I'm probably wrong. But anyway, hope you guys did enjoy. Yeah. Conclusion. M16's kind of cool. I really wish I could have one. I wouldn't mind having one. In my dreams, though. In my dreams. But, yeah. Anyway, that's that. The, obviously the AR-15 did come into, play with the when the M4 started kicking off, the AR-15 started going to play in that sort of era. I don't think there's a... I guess that works. I guess. Yeah, that's our AR-15 for today. Because I don't think this game has an AR-15. But anyway, long story short, the AR-15 was the Armalite 15, or Armalite Rifle 15. It's not an assault rifle. If you call it an assault rifle, you've been misinformed. And no, I'm not going to go into the rant about, oh, leftist media and everything else. Okay, I'm not that weird. Okay, but yeah. The AR stands for Armalite, not assault rifle. But yeah, so that's the best I can do. I'm from New Zealand, alright, so obviously my knowledge isn't going to be 100%. Okay, but yeah, I do what I can, so Peace out. I hope this, to the one guy that requested it, I hope this suited what you want. Oh, what the heck? What? You can save... I give up. Yeah. Well, I hope this suited what you want. I'm not an expert in it. If there is anything I got wrong, then please let me know down below. I'm always eager to learn. And yeah, cheers. Just to finish this, because for some random reason my thingy can't be bothered shutting off. Let's just... Sorry for the people that have left by now. Although, if you are still here, comment bananas down below. I was not expecting that. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that is hilarious. Oh, nice, okay. That's cool. Alright, hopefully it works now. Bye bye.